So today I wanted to talk about the 10 free agents that the Buccaneers could still sign in free agency. Why? Well, because we are about to enter that phase of the offseason where more free agent signings are going to happen, and there is still a great amount of talent that is available. The Buccaneers still have an okay amount of cap space and could look to bring in one or two of these players that are on my list if they are willing to play for not a lot of money. I will say this list does not include players like Rob Gronkowski or Ndamukong Suh because we've already talked about those players immensely already. With that being said, let's begin with the list. Julio Jones is not the same receiver he once was. The 33-year-old, 7-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, played for the Tennessee Titans last season after getting shipped away from his career team, the Atlanta Falcons, and overall things were rough in his lone season in Tennessee. Jones would only start 10 games due to injuries and would post only 434 receiving yards and 1 touchdown over the course of those 10 games. Injuries would remain a concern were he to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but there is reason to believe that if Jones were to be the 3rd or 4th receiver on the Buccaneers depth chart, things would be better regarding his overall health with fewer snaps played. There are rumors that Brady reached out to Jones this offseason, and Jones would be a great depth addition to an already solid Bucs receiving room for talent and leadership purposes, so it isn't crazy to see Jones possibly joining the Bucs if, and this is a big if, he is willing to take a massive pay cut and a reduced role in an effort to win a Super Bowl, something he has yet to do in his career. T.Y. Hilton is another receiver that has struggled with injuries this past season and in many years before last season. Hilton hasn't played a full season of games since 2016 and has struggled mightily with injuries throughout the second half of his career. Now 32 years old, Hilton could do with a similar situation that was suggested for Julio Jones, playing less snaps on a reduced role to preserve health, but also having to take less money to be on a competitive team. Hilton would be another player who would add incredible depth and leadership to the Bucs receiving room and has a good amount of connections with the Buccaneers coaching staff already. Playing with Tom Brady is also always an alluring prospect, despite the rivalry that the Colts have had in the past with Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. David Johnson has an extensive history with Bruce Arians already. An Arians draft pick back in 2015, Johnson has had an up-and-down career since his early days in Arizona and has struggled with injuries in his last days in Arizona and in his 2 seasons with the Houston Texans. Johnson could be looking for a fresh start, and there is no better place than Tampa Bay, in my opinion. The coaching staff that he knows who loves him is there, and it is another situation of Johnson being able to have a depth type of role to conserve himself health-wise. Johnson would provide good depth behind Leonard Fournette, Rachaad White, and Giovanni Bernard, and could fill a lot of different roles on the offense if you needed him to. Now that BA has a role in the Bucs front office, maybe he does pull the trigger on bringing in a player that he has called his favorite draft pick ever in the past in David Johnson. This offseason, the Buccaneers traded for former Patriots offensive lineman Shaq Mason to bolster their starting unit and give them one of the best starting guards in the NFL. Why not bring in another former Patriots offensive lineman in Cameron Fleming as a possible depth piece to continue that trend? Fleming spent his first 4 years in the NFL with the Patriots, winning 2 Super Bowls before moving on to spend 2 years in Dallas as a fringe starter, 1 year with the Giants as a full-time starter, and 1 year in Denver as a fringe starter as well. Having Fleming as a backup right tackle would do wonders for the Buccaneers' offensive line depth and really help solidify a unit that has added some fantastic starting pieces already. Also, having another mentor for Tristan Wirfs couldn't hurt at all in my opinion, and I don't think it would cost too much to get Fleming into the building. Now, similar things can be said for the next player on this list, Marcus Cannon. A 3-time Super Bowl champion, Cannon was a starter multiple times for the Patriots in his 9 years with the team and was a starter for the Houston Texans last year before suffering a serious back injury that ended his year after 4 games played. Now at 34 years old, Cannon could take the retirement route, but if he is healthy and able to play at a high level, why not go for one more Super Bowl run with the Buccaneers as the backup to Tristan Wirfs? Sheldon Richardson is a big man on the defensive line. Coming in at 6'3", 290 pounds, Richardson has a history with the Bucs already, as he was a first-round pick and played for current Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles during their time together with the New York Jets. Since his first 4 years in New York, Richardson has been a bit of a mercenary, bouncing around to the Seattle Seahawks, the Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland Browns for 2 years, and then back to Minnesota last season, in all places being a full-time starter for the team. Richardson could easily be a starter for the Bucs if you want to bring in Logan Hall as a rotational pass rusher in its rookie season, but could also be a backup to Hall as well to help bring some more run defense to the Buccaneers' front seven throughout the year. This one makes a good amount of sense in my opinion, and I could see the Bucs giving Richardson a good bit of change if they really wanted to bring him in. Eddie Goldman is another big man on the defensive line that could provide some very quality depth or even possibly start for the Bucs if needed. 6'3", 325 pounds, Goldman would figure to be more of a nose tackle that could be seen playing defensive end in the Bucs defense as well. Goldman would provide versatility for the Bucs defense and give them a lot of really good options for moving guys around when you add Goldman with the players who are already on the Bucs defensive line. Goldman would be a good fit for a Todd Bowles style of defense and might not cost much at all at this point in the offseason. Speaking of versatility, let's talk about Jamie Collins, former inside linebacker for the New England Patriots, the Cleveland Browns, the Detroit Lions, and then the Patriots again this past season. Collins can do it all. He can stop the run, defend the pass, and sack the quarterback as well, things he's been able to showcase throughout the entirety of his career. The Bucs have yet to re-sign Kevin Minter as of the recording of this video and could use a third linebacker, and I think Collins would be a fantastic fit. I could see Collins being used as a Swiss Army knife type role for the defense in a similar way to what we are already seeing with Devin White. At this point in his career at the age of 32, Collins shouldn't cost too much money and would provide phenomenal depth for the Buccaneers at the linebacker position this upcoming season. Speaking of former New England Patriots, let's talk about Trey Flowers. Flowers was a fantastic edge rusher for the Patriots in his last 3 seasons with the team and put up similar production in his first year with the Lions before injuries began to take their toll in Flowers' last 2 years in Detroit. Now, Flowers was released by the Lions in March and could look to rebound with the Buccaneers after 2 injury-filled seasons in Detroit. Flowers would be a fantastic addition to an edge group that has not seen any additions this offseason and is still possibly looking for another veteran after the departure of Jason Pierre-Paul. Flowers would fit in right away on the Bucs defense and could look to jumpstart his career again once more at the age of 28. Flowers could easily be the starter if you would like to continue to develop Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, or be brought in as a fringe starter as well, who would still be able to contribute in massive ways for the Buccaneers defense. Finally, we have a familiar face for the Bucs fans in Carl Nassib, a player who spent 2 seasons with the Browns before being traded to the Bucs, where he had 2 breakout seasons, and then finally landing with the Raiders, where things weren't as good. Nassib is a free agent now and could look to join his old team and reprise his role as a very solid rotational pass rusher for the Bucs front 7. Nassib would provide both decent run-stopping ability and a good amount of pass rushing ability to give the Bucs pass rush even more potency. Nassib shouldn't cost too much money either, as he is looking to rebound at this point in his career and may be looking to give a discount to the team that helped him break out in the first place. But what do you guys think? Of the players that I listed here, which ones do you think the Buccaneers should consider bringing in? Maybe 1 or 2 of these names you think those ways? Or do you think that this list is completely wrong and that I am crazy? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I would love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.